Hey guys, today I found a post that's very um, interesting to me, only because it actually checks off all the boxes, but I just don't know if it's a good idea for him to actually do what he's wanting to do. And then that's exactly the reason why he's asking the question. So I'll kind of share my thought on that, and then you know what I would do versus what I think you can do, and then hopefully it kind of helps making the decision. So the username is copyright copyrighted conk. It says considering selling paid off truck for new more fuel efficient car. It says hello, 25-year-old male here, living in Midwest. I am engaged, making 55,000 per year before overtime, bonus, and etc. I also have $23,000 in savings and I have no debt whatsoever. I pay the following per month: $500 for rent, $60 for utilities, grocery $200 per month, gas $240 to $360, car insurance $60 per month. I am considering trading or selling my completely paid off 2011 F-150 with 136,000 miles on it, and instead of buy 2023 Honda Civic Si. I understand typically used cars are a better deal, but where I'm at, the Civic Si is with the 50,000 miles going for $2,000-$3,000 less than the car is brand new. Truck is being in good shape for a 13-year-old car with about $13,000 to $15,000 worth. Have zero use for the pickup truck. Gets anywhere from 14 to 16 miles per gallon. Costs between $100 and $120 to fill up each time. I like cars and trucks. Would prefer to own. Enjoy driving. Blah 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 blah. The SI will be roughly about $30,000. Me financing $15,000 at 5.29 APR for 48 months. This will put my payment around $350 a month. I keep going back and forth trying to decide if I could keep my truck or if I should keep my truck or buy a new car. Any input would be appreciated. So short answer, I say keep the truck. So going over the numbers a little bit though, it's actually great that he's looking at actually 48 months term when everybody else is looking at 72, 84, even more longer than that. So if he's looking at 48 months, kudos to you, right? And the fact that he's making 55,000 a year, I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. In my opinion, the maximum that you should afford for the monthly payment really is about a half of what you bring home in a week for the car payment. So I think that kind of lines in pretty similar, about $350 a month. So which is pretty good. Going from a big truck down to a smaller car is definitely more fuel efficient. And I don't know much about insurance, so I don't know if it's gonna go up or down and what have you. I would imagine it would, pretty much stay the same. The only difference is that I don't know if he's got a full coverage or just a liability only. I think he said it was $60 per month. Typically, full coverage insurance, I think, is about $100 per month, I guess. But again, I'm sure you can shop around and get a good deal and get it really lower. So again, I think everything kind of checks up the box when it comes to finances and stuff like that. And again, that may make sense, and that's a good way for you to go. The only thing is, one, like you said, you do have a car that's completely paid for. So then now you're getting into a car that's not paid for, right? And again, if you only have liability only insurance, whether you want to do that or you want to have a full coverage insurance anyway, but that's a different story. But when you get it financed, the lender's gonna force you to get the full coverage insurance just because they need to be protected. Another is another is that the fact that you're kind of engaged, and I don't know if you're thinking about getting starting the family. I don't know when you guys are thinking about getting married and having a child and stuff like that. But if that's in the picture in the future, I just don't know having an SI really makes sense. And for those people who don't really know what the SI is, I'm not a huge Honda fan to begin with, but the Honda Civic Si is like more of a performance car. And my understanding is that, and it could have changed since, when I actually looked into this years ago, is that they only come in manual. So like if you're engaged and once you get married, I don't know if your wife can drive or your fiance can drive manual or not. Maybe she can, maybe she can't. Maybe you can teach her. I just don't know if you want to do that on a brand new SI. But regardless of it, right? That's something you got to think about. Same thing with, again, having a kid. Would it be better to have your child in the back of a F-150 versus an SI? Not to say that that's not a safe car. I have a small Jetta, right? But it's not the safety of it for sure, but also having a bigger car just makes it feel like it's a little bit safer in a way. Again, I'm not an engineer by any means, so I'm not sure if the one is better than the other as far as the safety is concerned. I'm sure they're both safe cars, but it's just that pure size wise, and again, just the convenience factor of it too. The truck would be easier to, have the kid on the car, off the car, and that sort of things, out of the car, in the car. So that'd be a lot easier. And the fact that what he said about, he wants to trade the truck to get a more fuel efficient car. And I think that's the part where kind of, I don't know if the bothering me is the right word, but I think it's just, is that because if you're thinking about really getting a fuel efficient car, you can definitely get anything other than the Civic Si that is a performance car, right? Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, a little bit more of a background on that. Like when you look at the comparison between regular Civic and an Si, is that there's about $5,000 worth of difference between, because I think he said he's looking at about $30,000 car, versus a typical, Honda Civic. I'm guessing it's like somewhere between mid. I'm guessing because I know the price has gone up a lot. To low 20s, so somewhere between $5,000 to $7,000 difference between the two cars, on the price tag, but also too fuel efficiency. Like the engine for the Si, when I did a quick research, is that it's got a 200 horsepower at 6,000 RPM with 192 pounds of torque at 1,800, versus regular one which is 158 at 6,500 RPM at 138 foot-pounds of torque at 4,200 RPM. So basically what that means is that the top speed, or the maximum horsepower comes in at 200, which is about 50 or 40 something more than the regular Civic, meaning it's got more power, pushes a lot stronger, a lot faster, but also has a lot higher torque. So it accelerates the car at a low RPM, meaning that as you let your foot up the gas or the brake into gas at 1,800, because your car idles at 1,000, whatever. And so like if within a couple of seconds, you're already at a maximum acceleration. So like your car's going at such a high acceleration to, get up the line faster. And again, the difference between the two is almost 50 something, 60 torque between the two, regular and the other. And the same thing with the engine displacement. One's at a 2.0 liter, which is a regular Civic, versus the Si, which is 1.5, meaning it's a little lighter, right? Just because it's smaller and blah, blah. But it's got more performance because I'm sure they tweaked it a little bit different, but also it's a turbo engine car. So it actually spools up, pushes more, power into it. So and another, again, I think mentioned that it was a manual transmission only, if I'm not mistaken. And the fuel efficiency is like 27, 37, 31 versus 31, 40, 35. And this is an EPA estimate, right? Which is they're not like racing it. They're just doing a regular, hey, here's 40 miles an hour, here's 60 miles an hour, kind of cruise control driving type of thing. So it's, the difference between the two is, far, far, far apart. Like, he's not looking for more of a fuel efficient car. He's looking for, hey, I'm looking for another car. I'm working. I got some money. Let me get something I really really like that I think I'm gonna be keeping for years to come. Kind of like my truck that I had it for years, and drive up to 100 something thousand miles on the car, and that's where I kind of like I don't want to say cringe a little bit, but cringe a little. It's just that it's not a. I feel like it's not really a fuel efficiency choice. It's not about, hey, I'm trying to get I'm trying to like maximize my dollar for everything. It's just, hey, I'm looking for another car, but with the purchase of this new car comes a added benefit of being more fuel efficient than my car that I got. And that's the vibe that I'm getting for some reason or another. Of course, I'm not talking to the guy, and I may be misreading it completely, which I tend to do a lot. But that's what I'm seeing, and I really enjoy cars and I love it. But because this is a personal finance side of it, I really think um, that's actually the case. Again, especially with you being engaged and stuff like that. Not to say that again, even if your fiance can actually drive manual, um, I think maybe having the baby and things like that. I just don't know if it's kind of makes sense if it's worth it unless you just love manuals and you just gotta have it and stuff like that. Then of course, then as a car person perspective, I think Civic would make sense. You can definitely afford it, but financial sense, I just don't know if it is the best way to do it. Again, I definitely think everything kind of checks off the box. It makes sense. You could do it. I don't really care that much about the interest rate. I don't really care about the 48 months. Like, not all of that really makes sense. I mean, you can go 48 versus 60, and again, like you will lower your payment even more. Like all of that checkout boxes, all of that makes sense. All of that is good. You have no other debt whatsoever. So like all of that check off the boxes. But I just think you can probably do a little bit better, a little bit wiser thing with your money. Um, Even if you have to buy a car, like of course, number one thing is I will stick with the car that you have, just because again it's paid for. Yeah, you spend a little bit of money on the gas, but I think the Civic's not gonna run on air, right? It's unfortunately even if it's a Tesla, right? Like you have to charge it up. There's an electricity cost to it, um, uh, and you have to pay for the car, so it's not free. So like things like that is just I got two cars that I pay for. They're both uh, fairly old. Just keep it just because again they're both paid for. At some point I probably need to get a new car, but they both have about 60,000 miles on it, so it's not like I need to change it anytime soon. So that's what it is. That's my thought. I really really liked doing a little bit of research about the Civic and stuff like that, just because I like cars to begin with, and I really appreciate you posting it. And but that's what my opinion is. Hope you liked it. I don't know if you're gonna end up getting another car or not. If you can do a follow-up post on it, that'd be great. I really would appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Bye bye.